ways to resolve conflict in a relationship. If you're new here, my name is Muthoni Mukiri. I'm a practicing and certified life coach, and I'm happy to do what I do here. So you can be part of this wonderful family by subscribing. So about resolving conflict in a relationship, and I'm talking about the heated conflict. Like when it's heated, when it's in the moment, when things that you don't want to say are being said, that weird, bad, unhealthy things are being said at this point, like it's so heated. How do you resolve this conflict? As women, especially as women, we feel like we really struggle to be heard. We really want to be heard. We really want to, say our point, and we really want it to stick through and all that. So how do we resolve conflict? Because you're not resolving your partner. There is your partner, there is you, and there is the relationship, and there is the problem. The both of you want to solve the problem, right? Yeah. So you're going at it, you're crazy, you don't do this, you do this, and it's heated, and you're arguing, and it's shouting, and you're really going at it. So the first way to resolve this conflict is to say this. How this is going, I feel like I'm gonna say things that will not be healthy, or I feel like I will say things that I will regret. So I'm gonna take time and cool off, and we can talk about this afterwards. That's the first thing you do. You tell them, I don't think I'm doing justice to this conversation. I need to cool off. I need a moment, like I need to just let me have a moment. We can talk about this afterwards. That's the first thing. And note this about the first way to solve conflict. The person who leaves, the person who says I need time to cool off, has to be the person to come back. Don't follow them. Do not follow them. They have a right to leave. They have a right, by the way, to go off and come down, but do not follow them. As women, you want to follow them. When they go to the other room and bang the door, you follow them there. You follow them to the washroom. You follow them to the kitchen. You follow them outside. You really want to be heard. It feels unfair to the other party that wants to solve the conflict by sitting there and talking about it and going back and forth and trying to be heard. But it is a very good way of resolving conflict, because sometimes you have an issue here, you're fighting about maybe a very minor thing or something that's not such a big deal, and during the argument sometimes things can be said that you will never take back. Sometimes during this fight you can say things that now become the fight, that now become the issue. It stops even being about what it was, and then becomes something different from the conflict, from what you say during the conflict. So the person who leaves the room has a right to, but they also have to be the person to come back. Do not follow them. Give them their space, let them cool off. They will come back. They will come back. If indeed it's a healthy relationship, they will come back and you will talk about it. The second thing is to apologize in the moment. I don't know if you've ever realized, sometimes when you're going at it, wewe hata nilikwambia, you didn't even leave the keys, hey, sijui blah blah blah, and then the other person goes quiet and says, I'm sorry, I apologize. Do you know this other party just goes quiet? Like your words, you lose your words, and your words just fly away, and you just go quiet. The second way to resolve conflict is to apologize. I'm sorry, at the moment I didn't think about it like that. I felt neglected, or I felt like this, and I did this, and in return I hurt you, and I'm sorry, and it will not happen again, and thank you for raising it. I'm sorry, babe. Apology. So you can either walk away, and you can either apologize. The first method of walking away, let me say this. Communicating is not just about what you're communicating, and the biggest part of communicating is how you communicate and how you do it. So the first one, where I said you can tell them you need time to cool off and leave the room. You remember the first way to resolve conflict? You cannot live without communicating. Okay, you can, but it's not right. That you're not solving anything by doing that. There's a difference between we're arguing, we're having something we're talking about, and then you just storm out and bang the door. Compared to telling me, by the way, this conversation, I don't want to have it at this point. I feel like I'm not doing justice to it, and I feel like I'm going to say things that I'm going to regret, so I need time to cool off. and then walk out. There's a difference between those two people. So most of us, we are so emotional during conflict. We are not thinking straight. We just want to leave and bang the door and break glasses, and that's very unhealthy, and that's not the right way to solve conflict. This is a short video, by the way, but I had to do it like this. I had to be really straight to the point. So number one, you can take time to go and cool off, but you have to tell your partner why. And when that person walks out the door, don't follow them. Let them go cool off. And they also have to be the one to come back. You don't go pestering them again. And then number two, apologize at the moment. You know, sometimes we know we're wrong, but when they start becoming a bit aggressive about it, you also feel attacked and you also want to, give it back to them. But apologize. If you feel you're wrong and you feel this conflict and it started, just at the moment, I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't mean to hurt you. I did this and it hurt you in return, and I feel bad about it. I feel terrible about it, and it will not happen again. Yes. And if you can, do something to make it up for them. Yeah, to make it up to them or for them. Kizungu. So there's something else I spoke about. Nowadays, now that I'm more self-aware, now that I'm really working on myself and I've done a lot of work on myself, I have also learned to take a moment before I say something. I've learned to, because I've understood, sometimes when someone does say something to you, sometimes you can understand it from where you're coming from your past experiences, or from your emotional point at that day, or sometimes you're not genuine about how you understand it. I don't even you're not doing justice to that statement or to whatever is being said to you. So I've learned to take a moment when he says something. I instead of, and then sometimes when he says something and then I immediately feel triggered, I've learned to first of all take a moment and to ask myself, is it me? Is it am I understanding it from my past, from my heart trauma, or is this genuine, or is it really hurting, and then I'm able to even think about how I'm gonna raise it. Because you can't just be unaambiwa tu kitu and then you start raising things. Like when we were going even through the premarital counseling, we were advised to stop sweating the small stuff. But sometimes the small stuff can really trigger you, So how do you stop sweating the small stuff? By taking time to think about, is asking him about it, is having a conflict about this thing even worth it? What am I hoping to achieve? And also looking at, did they even really mean it? Am I also getting triggered because I have past trauma, because I have past experiences, or because there's somewhere I'm coming from, right? Conflict is good. Conflict is not something bad, so long as you don't lose yourself in the conflict, and so long as every little conflict doesn't not become a deal breaker for that relationship. Am I making sense? We all come from different places. We have all different personalities, and we might never agree on the same thing. But so long as we can be able to communicate in a way that's building the relationship, in a way that's correcting this relationship. I remember somebody told me somewhere that when you're communicating, it's not just about telling the other person what you think. It's also about, am I communicating to break it more? Am I communicating and then break the other person? Am I communicating to build? If you're not communicating if you feel whatever you're going to say is messing your relationship or is causing more conflict, and it's not something that you really have to talk about, then don't. Deal with it on your own. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for watching. I love you guys. Let's meet down at the comment section, and have a wonderful evening.